This is example 8 from lesson R.3. These last three problems that we're going to factor, they're kind of special cases. Now for A, you'll notice you have x minus 2 quantity squared plus 5 times the quantity x squared minus 2 minus 14. So this looks like something that ought to be factorable, and it actually is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a substitution rule, and we're going to turn this into something that looks like something that is factorable. So I am going to pick a variable, any variable, and I'm just going to pick W. And I'm going to put W in place of the parentheses. Now I'm going to leave the exponent there, and I'm going to put a W here in place of this parentheses. All right, so what's going to happen is my problem is going to change into W squared plus 5W minus 14. And this actually looks normal because now I know this is going to factor into two sets of parentheses. All right, and then W times W is going to give me W squared. And then I need things that will multiply and give me negative 14. That will add together and give me positive 5. So let's see, 7 times 2 is going to give me 14. And then positive 2 minus 7 will give me negative 5. Okay, so we're almost done. We can't leave it like this because my original problem had x's in it and it did not have w's. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my w out, and I'm going to put in what w was really equal to, and that was this parentheses right here. So this one's going to turn into x squared minus 2, and then plus that 2 right there. And then this one is going to turn into an x squared minus 2, and then minus that 7 right there. So let's see, in the first parentheses, the negative 2 and positive 2 will cancel, and that's going to leave me with an x squared. In the second parentheses, I have negative 2 minus 7. That's going to leave me with x squared minus 9. And oh, look, that's going to factor again because x squared is a perfect square and 9 is a perfect square. So we know that's going to factor into two parentheses. So x times x is going to give me x squared, and 3 times 3 is going to give me 9, and 1 should be positive and 1 should be negative. This is the solution to part A. Now for part B, I'm actually going to factor out the greatest common factor, and it looks like all of these have an a to the negative 5 in common. All right, so we bring that a to the negative 5 out front. That's going to leave me with 11 minus 3. Okay, now remember your exponent rules. When we're dividing, negative 4 minus negative 5 is going to be positive 1. And then negative 3, when we're dividing, minus negative 5 is going to be positive 2. So what we really want to do is we want to factor this trinomial, which is 2a squared minus 3a plus 11. Alright, so I need to multiply 2 times 11. That's going to give me 22. So I'm looking for things that will multiply and give me 22 that will also add together and give me negative 3. And there aren't any factors that will multiply and give me 22 that will also give me positive 11. So it looks like our answer here is going to be a to the negative 5 times 2a squared minus 3a plus 11. Then the only other thing I might want to do is not have any negative exponents in my final answer. And remember that little rule about how if you want to make it positive, you can cross the line and change the sign. So this answer would actually be 2a to the second minus 3a plus 11, and this will be divided by a to the positive 5 power. So here is B. All right, when we go to factor C, I notice that the parentheses match. So I know I'm going to be able to pull out the greatest common factor, 4x plus 3. Now, remember how I said we want to pick the lowest exponent? And negative 3 over 4 is smaller than positive 1/4. So that means my exponent on here should be negative 3 over 4. All right, and then remember we're supposed to figure out what's left here. So when I do my magic division thing and divide by the 4x plus 3, that's going to cancel and leave me with just that x. And when I do my magic division over here, now I'm doing 1/4 minus negative 3/4. Well, 1 minus negative 3/4, sorry, 1/4 minus negative 3/4, that's just 1. So this is going to leave me with a 4x plus 3 to the first power there. And then I can just simplify this because that's a 1 exponent. I really don't need the parentheses. This will simplify into 4x plus 3 to the negative 3/4 power. And then x plus 4x is going to give me 5x plus 3. And then remember what I did over here to get rid of the negative exponent. So I'm going to do the same thing because I don't want to have a negative exponent. So I'm going to do that whole cross the line, change the sign thing. And my answer here is going to be 5x plus 3 over 4x plus 3. And then this will be to the positive 3 over 4 power. And this will be my final answer for C.